Hello, and welcome to Alchemical Serenity Pagan Podcast with me, Carolyn, a practicing Druid witch, regression therapist, shamanic energy healer following a modern path of animism connected to all energies for the last 40 plus years. The Pagan Podcast is here to take you on your own personal journey of transformation, helping you to transition through each year and each season, and also guiding you to find your own path and your reason for this human experience and what you can do about it now that you're here. If you are new, hello and welcome, and don't forget to subscribe if you find anything helpful. There's lots of other topics I talk about on the podcast, and also tell me about your path and where you are listening in from. Are you on a new adventure of self-discovery, or have you been on your path for quite some time now? Or, like me, moss is growing out of your ears. Everyone is welcome here. It doesn't matter where you come from, what path you are on, and from anywhere in the world. Just sit back, have a nice cuppa, and let's get on with today's podcast. So, we've made it. It's December. And December has two major festivals, I suppose you could call them now, the Winter Solstice and Yule. Now, these are two different festivals and they often get put together, which is slightly incorrect, really. Yule is a festival that has been celebrated for centuries in various forms by Germanic pagans, Celtic pagans and neo-pagans for generations, and it merged into Christmas during the Christianization of Europe. It descends from the Old English Gaul, which is spelled Geol, and it was a 12-day festival known as sort of Yule or Gule-tide. I'm not very good at that pronunciation, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The exact date of the pre-Christian Yule is unknown and is often debated, and is believed to range from the 5th of January to the 2nd of February in the Gregorian calendar. Yule is linked to various cultural festivities across northern Europe, and one of those being the Wild Hunt, where Odin rides across the skies with his ghostly followers. In ancient Rome, Saturnalia was held between the 17th and the 23rd of December. It honoured the sun god Saturn. Feasting and parties took place with a carnival atmosphere, and gifts were given to family members. Roles were reversed, where slaves became masters and masters had to do what the slaves told them. And there was also the Lord of Misrule, where all sorts of mischief happened. It was definitely a time to party and enjoy being with family and friends, until it was abolished by Emperor Constantine in 312 AD. Traditional practices included burning the Yule log, decorating with holly, mistletoe, evergreens, exchanging gifts, feasting, dancing, singing, and making offerings to the gods and the goddesses, to the sprites and the spirits. The Norse held Yule feasts for the god Baldur, while the Romans were celebrating Saturnalia. And the pagan Germanic peoples honoured the solstice as Yule, holding 12 days of feasting and sacrifice, where fires and candles were lit to welcome in the sun's revival. The winter solstice falls before Yuletide, and it marks the shortest daylight hours. It occurs when the northern hemisphere is the furthest away from the sun, and since prehistory it has been a significant time of the year for many cultures around the world. Monuments such as Newgrange in Ireland, Stonehenge and temples in Egypt have all been built in line with the sun's rising. The winter solstice is the astronomical winter, as opposed to the meteorological winter that starts on December the 1st in the Northern Hemisphere or June in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, we observe the solstice as a day, but it is in fact only a very quick moment in time as the Earth tilts its furthest point away from the sun. And at the time of the solstice, the sun will appear very low in the sky. In Latin, the word sol meant sun and sistere meant stand still, and the sun appears to be in the same place in the sky for 2 to 3 days. At the winter solstice, we only have 7 hours and 50 minutes of daylight compared to the summer solstice that has given us 16 hours and 38 minutes. Each year, the solstice falls between the 20th and the 22nd of December, and you can easily find the dates online. This year it's the 21st of December at 3:02 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. and will start to set over the UK at about 3:54 p.m. Obviously, again, you can check wherever you are in the world at the time that this is going to happen. By the 23rd of December, daylight hours will already be outweighing the dark. So if you are worried about how you are going to cope with all the darker days, well, guess what? You have already been through 14 days of darkness, and you have that 14 days less to worry about because the earth is already tilting towards the sun on the very day after the solstice, and the sun is returning. Hurrah! I hear everybody cry because it's hard work, this dark stuff, isn't it? Although I am grateful that I don't live somewhere like Svalbard. For the Druids across Britain, it was a sacred time to collect mistletoe for medicinal purposes, and the ceremony took place as the mistletoe was cut from its host, the oak tree. To this day, Druids still call the solstice Albanathan, which is a Welsh word, and it means the return of the light or return of Arthur, which is again taken from the many stories of Arthurian legend. The solstice celebrates the rebirth of the sun. The sun. S-A-N. Not S-O-N. And marks the point where the day starts to become longer again. It is that time of new beginnings. It honours the winter goddesses and the divine feminine, and is often connected to various goddesses such as Holda, the Cailleach and the Modronich. Mythologically, it represents the battle between the Oak King, who rules the half of the year from the summer solstice up to the winter solstice, and the Holly King, who rules from the winter solstice to the summer solstice. Their battle takes place, and at the time, the Oak King surrenders to the Holly King. Now, the Oak King represents the waxing year and the cycle of growth. He is associated with the summer solstice, and the Oak King is seen as a young god, bold and ambitious, connected to the expansive light and energy of summer. Whereas the Holly King represents the waning year and the cycle of withdrawal. He is associated with the winter solstice, and the Holly King is an old god, wise and reflective, connected to the darkness and introspection of winter. If you're looking for themes and symbols associated with this time, then astrologically, the date is the sun is 0 degrees in Capricorn. Seasonal focus would be reflection, renewal and the returning of the light. You can use herbs and plants at this time of the year. Bay laurel for success, victory, focus and calming of the mind. Chamomile can bring about calm and peace to our nervous system, especially after Christmas Day when you've had the relatives round. Evergreen trees such as holly and Christmas trees, that we obviously pine, etc., and ivy all bring about protection. If you hang a piece of holly above your door, it will ward off negativity. If you want to look at crystals, then there's green aventurine, which brings balance, dissolves negative thoughts and emotions. You've also got citrine for purification, balance, abundance, wealth, success, sunstone to bring the sun, warmth, optimism, empathy and luck, and selenite, which cleanses the aura of blockages, bringing peace and tranquility. Moonstone, which is soothing, brings inner harmony and peace, and clear quartz, which is a master gemstone, and that enhances all of those that I've just given you, but also it will replace them if you don't have any of those crystals in, but you've got a clear quartz. It's all down to intention, and as you work with it, it's the intention that you set. Animals, well, this time of the year, bears, reindeers, squirrels, stags, all of those bringing some strength, courage, resourcefulness, preparation with the squirrels, and the stags bring inner strength. Ravens bring wisdom and transformation of one stage to another, basically adapting through life as we walk through the winter months. Oils to use perhaps would be ginger because it's healing, brings about new beginnings and prosperity. Orange for creativity, joy, success, and it's uplifting, isn't it? Orange is lovely. Pine for immortality, resilience and longevity. Frankincense and myrrh for purification of the space when burned, healing, concentration and devotion. If you like to work with colours, then gold for wealth, manifesting for power and prosperity. Green for grounded energy, luck, growth, vitality and creativity. Red for love, passion, desire, personal and family relationships. and white for serenity, peace, personal strength and insight. Any of those could be used in any way in your ritual working to enhance all of the energy work that you may wish to do over the winter solstice. If you like to journal, then here's a few prompts for you. So, what are your intentions, hopes and wishes for the coming year? What from the past year are you ready to release or let go of? What would you like to also carry forward that you felt has been perhaps a positive energy on your life throughout 2025? What can it do into 2026? And how does celebrating the solstice and the return of the light inspire you? What does it symbolise for you? And then make a list of things you'd like to nourish, grow and cultivate in your life in the coming months. I don't know whether you follow me on Instagram, but for the past, where are we now? Half, shall we say, of December, I have done 21 days of cozy magic, and I have put something up that you could do each day from the 1st of December, and it runs through to the solstice. They're just prompts, they're just ideas. You can do them any time of the year, to be fair. They're not necessarily for the solstice, because if you're coming along now, you're perhaps thinking, oh no, I've missed it. It doesn't matter. Try them in January instead. Go back onto Instagram, go back to the 1st of December and do it from the 1st of January. See what insights and energy you can find to work with throughout the January period for 21 days. Things like this, they tend to focus our intentions, don't they? And make us think a little bit. I mean, these aren't all intention prompts that I have put. They are things like taking a nice long soak in the bath, perhaps going for a walk in nature, which we should all be doing lots of. And just different things that, you might want to sit and snuggle up and read a book. It's something like that. So it's on Instagram. You can't miss me because I'm Alchemical Serenity on Instagram as well. And go and have a look and see if perhaps there's something on there that you might like to try throughout the solstice and Yuletide and into next year. So that really ties up my Winter Solstice Yuletide podcast for this year. It's also my final podcast of 2025. I'm going to take some time out possibly next year. When we get around to Imbolc on the 1st of February, it would be the 4th podcast I've done and talked about. And I'm not sure where to take the podcast at the moment. I'm having a think about it. Whether I start doing something at the beginning of January as prompts to walk forward for the month of January, that might be something that I look into, and then perhaps do the beginning of February, different things. But ultimately, doing podcasts like this, where I have to write my notes and then find time to record them, can actually be quite hard work, to be fair. And as much as I enjoy doing them and I love sharing the path I'm on, my path obviously is my path, and it's going to be different to yours. You might be here because you are just interested in what paganism is about, and it is becoming incredibly popular. People are looking now at paganism. If you're in the UK, you'll know of the Telegraph, or as I call it, the Tory graph. And in the Telegraph, it was stated that by Professor Ronald Hutton that paganism is becoming very, very popular. And I think it'd be quite interesting to know the results of census records that we take as to whether paganism is growing and becoming, more than perhaps Christian faiths are, perhaps more than Methodist, what people are looking for now, and whether that is going back, not to the old ways. This is all modern paganism. This is modern practice. It's modern energy. It's how it works for you on your path. If you are here and you're enjoying the podcast, then, have a look back at anything I have recorded in the past. Perhaps leave me a comment on what you'd be interested for me to talk about, and I'll have a look into it. And let's see what 2026 brings. So really now, I'm going to leave it there and just say to you, have a wonderful, wonderful winter solstice. Have a fantastic Yuletide, Christmas, whatever you are celebrating, wherever you are in the world, whether you're in the depths of winter, in the darkness of winter, or it's summer and you're spending it on the beach. Have a wonderful time with your family. If you are not with family this winter, then connect with the energy, because you are never alone when you connect with the energy of Mother Earth. You are never, ever alone. Sometimes you just have to ground yourself and remember that Mother Earth is a living energy and she's standing with you and holding your hand. Take care till then. Look after yourself and everyone around you. Have a wonderful time. And I'll speak to you next year in 2026. Happy New Year.